I won't talk for too long, don't worry, but I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of kind of where we are at the foundation and what we're thinking about when we think about things like Julia. So if were any of you at CSVConf this year in Berlin? So it's a really nerdy conference about spreadsheets, which was really fun, and it was in Berlin a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said at the conference, the new Moore's Law is that they fund cool conferences. So I'd like to think that we're kind of doing that here, yeah. If you weren't aware, the Moore Foundation is, of course, Gordon and Betty Moore, so Gordon Moore of Moore's Law. And although his big passion is science, he also has a love for some other groups that we fund. So we have a patient care group, a science group, an environment group, and a Bay Area group. And within those groups, the science program is what I work in. So we have lots of different kind of initiatives within the science program. The Data-Driven Discovery Initiative is the one that we think about when we talk about things like Julia. So within the Data-Driven Discovery Initiative, there's three main thrusts that we work with: practices, people, and institutions. And the reason this came about was basically because you guys are all aware there's lots of conversations going on around all the new fun phrases we can use with the word data in them. And how do we think about that in terms of improving research and making sure that this isn't just kind of more bad spreadsheets, but maybe thinking about how to really implement some of the really high quality computational techniques in all research domains. So generally the way that it tends to work in academia is that the computational skills, the domain scientists, and the math and stats folks kind of all work in their own little silos. It's really hard to get them together, primarily because departments don't do a great job of figuring out how to fund interdisciplinary people and making it easy for them. So what we're really thinking about at the Data-Driven Discovery Initiative group is thinking about how to look at the overlap of those three and how to enable science and academic research at the interface of those three. And so the goal of the Data-Driven Discovery Initiative is to catalyze shifts towards new norms. And there's two main ways to do this: figuring out how to nurture and reward data-intensive researchers and research at institutions, and then figuring out how to support tools and practices that are useful for this type of research. So we have $60 million to spend over 6 years. I think we've officially spent 58 million of it, we've promised 58 million of it. So this goes to those three different initiatives in the approximate breakdown that you kind of see here. And we're at the 3.5, almost 4-year mark for the institution, or for the initiative as a whole. At the end of that time, we'll then hopefully get a new giant pile that we can give away, but that's not a given. So within the Data-Driven Discovery Initiative, the institutions program is funneling money to these three universities. This is through a partnership with the Sloan Foundation. So the NYU Center for Data Science, which I know we have some folks here that are affiliated with that, the Berkeley Institute for Data Science at UC Berkeley, and then the University of Washington eScience Institute. And those three groups are all thinking about things in the vague areas of these 6 themes: space, open science, training, data science studies, which is kind of ethnography, and then careers and tools. And so they're thinking about those things individually for their campuses, but also as a whole. And as at the foundation, we're thinking about it in terms of spreading this to the broader academic community. In terms of the people, we have 14 investigators that we've given 1.5 million to. I didn't bother with names and universities, but there's lots of different types of people that are kind of at all sorts of institutions. Of course, we have some folks from places like Stanford that are kind of predictable, or Berkeley, but we also have places like University of Florida or the UT Southwestern Medical Center. So really kind of making an effort to broadly find a lot of people that are thinking about this interface of these three kind of circles and how we can facilitate their work. And then the final group is the practices. So this is to promote tools and techniques for data-driven research. So the 3 projects that we've funded so far are Jupyter, which we funded in partnership with a couple of other foundations, and then of course Julia, and Data Carpentry, which is one of the NumFocus sponsored projects that thinks about training and education around data-intensive research. And we're working on some other languages, like Python and R, so that'll be coming soon. Figuring out how to support those in addition to Julia. We want to be welcoming. And so the last slide here is just that there's 3 of us in the group, and so if you've heard of Chris Menzel, this is kind of his brainchild. He hired me to come and work, so I'm here representing the foundation today, and then we have one more person, the program associate. So we do have a Medium blog that we're starting to post things on, and then we also use a hashtag More Data when we're talking about anything on Twitter that has to do with the types of things that you guys are all probably interested in. So that's all I have. I'll leave you guys to your lunch. Are there any questions? Yeah. Anyone have questions about funding? I'm around if you want to chat about anything. Oh, that's not for you.
So next we have, speaking of NumFocus, we have Leah Silen from NumFocus. We'll be going to pull up the NumFocus website.
Just a second.
We'll be discussing what NumFocus does. Relatively new organization.
Hi, I'm just going to talk to you for a very few seconds, let everyone get to lunch about NumFocus. I've had the opportunity to chat with a few of you coming over to our NumFocus table, but I just wanted to give a kind of brief overview of NumFocus, how we got started, and our work that we're doing today, and some kind of goals we have for the future really quickly. So NumFocus was started 4 years ago in January of 2012, and there were 5 folks that got together and had been talking about the need for an organization that could support open source scientific computing projects. And those people were Travis Oliphant, the author of NumPy, and Fernando Perez, the author of IPython, John Hunter from Matplotlib, Perry Greenfield from AstroPy, and Jared Millman, who is also very involved at Berkeley with the scientific computing stack. So they got together, realized there was a need for this. There were some projects that were getting to be very popular, a lot of people using them, and there wasn't anyone to support those. There was also the thought that, hey, we might need some funding, and if we go after that funding, where is that funding going to land? We cannot put it in our personal checking accounts. Companies and foundations aren't real thrilled about giving us money to be able to do that with. So there was a need also for that type of program, and that was the beginning of our fiscal sponsorship program. So they formed the organization. I came in the early stages, wrote the 501c3. We were excited to be able to receive that on our first go-round, and we're very excited to start working with and helping the community. We started the fiscal sponsorship program. IPython was the first one to come on board, and now we have 15 projects that we're very pleased and proud of, including Julia and including Jupyter and Data Carpentry. We're very thankful for organizations like the Moore Foundation that help the community to grow. So our fiscal sponsorship program was able to handle the financial admin, be able to give access to legal support that was needed by projects, be able to own domains, own trademarks. There's just a lot of things that are needed on the back end as far as a project's organizational side. So we were able to come in, take care of that, and in addition, we wanted to support the community. So part of our goal and mission has an educational component. So we wanted to be able to offer educational programs. So we offer support workshops. We do PyData conferences, which, yes, it's PyData, but we also make sure we include Julia and some R talks at each one of those. And the Julia talks are always extremely well attended, and I appreciate all the Julia folks who have submitted talks and gave presentations there. We do a lot of diversity initiatives and just really try to reach out to the community and help make sure the community is more diverse, as well as trying to build the diverse contributor, I guess, base, because there's it seems a little bit easier to bring people to attend conferences and be part of the community, but we're still lacking in diversity as far as project contributors. So that's something we're really working on. We're thrilled to have some of our projects be focused on education, data carpentry, software carpentry, and quant econ, one of our newer projects we're really excited about. And so we're growing. We just received a grant, just received a few days ago, got word that the proposal was accepted from Sloan Foundation. And this is going to be a program that's going to work on project sustainability. So it's really important that we make sure all these open source projects that are based in scientific computing are kept sustainable. So this is going to be bringing in a project director, a new staff member at NumFocus, who's going to be really focused on helping projects work on building relationships and then fostering industry relationships. How can the industries come in? How can that be used to help build the sustainability as far as funding, as far as just working on relationships and a lot of the developers for projects, marketing and business is not their first priority, but we're going to kind of help with that and show how that can help. And it's a big factor in sustainability. So that's something we're going to work on. We'd love for you to go to numfocus.org and learn a little bit more about NumFocus. And we have free community membership. We don't, it's something you have to be really active or takes a lot of your time, but we do have a newsletter that comes out kind of bi-monthly. All it is giving you project updates on all of our projects and kind of the latest news that they'd like to share. So thanks so much, and we'd love to talk to you if you want to come by the table.
Could you say anything about the governance of NumFocus, and are there any Julia people on the board?
We are thrilled that Stefan Karpinski is on our board, and we are, our board is there are some project core contributors or people that are from the projects on our board, but our board is also folks that are just interested in the community. So we do have board elections that come up fairly frequently. So if you're interested, we'd love for you to reach out and get involved on that level also. So we're really thankful for our board members and the time they give and the input that they help give to our to the work we're doing and kind of giving us an overarching goals and set our agenda.
Great. Let's thank Leo.